Packing your two-stroke silencers is very important. We got some tips for you right now. But it does smell good. It's totally solid. Okay, make sure you're in a ventilated area. So it looks like it's kind of worse than I thought. Get it all off of here. Make sure that it's fully cooled off. Silencer packing on a two-stroke can be easily overlooked, and the bikes sound really raspy. That's the first way to know. This one's really heavy because it's coated in there, oily, especially little bikes, kids riding. Very common for them to get loaded up and just oil baked in there. We're gonna talk about how to repair that. The bike doesn't run as well as it should. It's gonna sound bad. Not only does it sound bad, it's not running as good as it should. It's very important to keep good packing in your silencer. You want it to be not overly tight, but you want it to be just good. And if you keep water out of there and you don't have it running too rich, it'll last quite a while, but it's something that needs to be replaced very often. There's different styles of packing. These are really nice. Bristol Core makes these cartridges, let's say, that are sewn on like pillows, makes it way easier. This is the standard style that most people will use, the least expensive and easiest. And if you're changing them often, this works just fine for most guys' use. A turbine core spark arrestor also will use regular packing most likely, which will be a little bit tougher for us. We'll give you tips on that right now. Come around and cut with the razor blade. The old silicone sometimes might kind of glue it in place a little bit. So just go around just like that. There we go. A little more persuasion to get this one off. And this one, we know, this is the heavy one. We know is going to be pretty goopy. Look at that. But it does smell good. All right, so now we're going to cut this off. It is solid carboned on, so it doesn't really want to break free. This thing was just like almost a straight pipe out that Sparky. I put the rubber gloves on because this stuff is really bad and stains your fingers and under your fingernails really good. So I don't want to have any of that on there. We're having some success here. Look at that. So it's totally solid, but it does smell good. A little over good, we call it, right? Little too much goodness. So now we can see all these holes are all carboned up. So you can drill them out, you can burn them out. What you can do here is kind of endless, but you want to get all this stuff off of here. I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel first. So now we're going to burn this off a little bit and try to get some of that junk out of there. The wire wheel helped get a lot of the outer stuff off. Okay, make sure you're in a ventilated area when you're doing this, preferably outside. But we got the fire extinguishers right there, so we're safe. The wire brush inside the core here, and I'm going to try to work it all the way down as far as I can. Let's see how much is coming out. This should have been done a long time ago on this sucker. You can see now all of our holes are wide open here. Got a couple in here, we'll go through and poke those out. So if you have a young shop helper, this would be a good job for him. Like wax on, wax off, right? Like perfect kind of job. On most of the larger bikes, this doesn't have quite as big of a bend, so you could put a straight piece all the way through it to make sure you're clear. So in this case, I'm going to want to send something through here to make sure I'm clear. Just want to make sure there's nothing in there. No goobers. I'll go blow this sucker out. Now at this point, you have a decision and a choice to make of how deep you want to get into this. You can remove the end of the can right here, and you're going to have to take these rivets out and remove the actual turbine core. You can see in here there is packing, and in this case we probably should take it completely apart to get all the packing off of that core right there. So this one had a bolt right here. I'm going to pull that out, and then we have to drill these two rivets off. Okay, end cap came off here, and so this is going to go back on. And to get it back on, it appears to be a little tricky because we want this to go right into there. So it looks like it's kind of worse than I thought. We were thinking about not doing this, but it's pretty dang bad. Let's see how much is in here. And after doing this job, you can weigh out what your time's worth if you want to get a new silencer or not. Look at that. This is going to take so much to burn off all of this stuff in here. So we're going to burn this off. It does smell good. Burn it. See, we can't even see the turbine core in there. It's so coated. Most of the time, it's not this bad. So we got it pretty dang. It's still smoldering in here, and I'm holding it far away, so this is to be safe. Now we could pretty much scrape it all out like this, get it all off of here because we got it all crystallized. And that's how much was clogging this thing up. So this bike's going to run way better than it was. Make sure that it's fully cooled off. We have our end cap piece lined up. We're able to get it in there, and we're lined up with the holes here. So this piece is all ready to go. Now we're going to cut us out some packing. We're even going to use this older used packing, which is fine. And we're going to cut out some pieces for this and here. Let's go about here. One of the things I heard about packing, or learned about packing, I should say, is people think it's got to be packed really tight. And I think I thought that initially, 40 years ago. But it just needs to be nice and snug. You don't want it to be too tight, or it's going to just have the same problem it had before. A little bit of this, painter's tape or masking tape will be just right for this thing. And this one is a way bigger diameter, so it's probably only going to need like half of this, or 3/4 to say. I think it's only going to need one lap. Like me at the buffet line. Wrap just like that. Good. We're going to put it back together in the same order we took it apart. We're going to get this in, and then this on, and then we'll put our main piece in. So we have our new rivets. You want to make sure that they're going to fit. Sometimes you'll need to drill out your holes. They say they're 3/16 rivets. I think that's a good size. If you have to drill them bigger, you can. That's why it's nice not to have to drill. When you're drilling out those rivets, you want to drill a big hole in here. What we learned is this hole right here needs to line up right there. And we put a little line here on our silencer to help us out. So now we can work it all the way up there. Just like that. So now we're flat, and we know we have to go in about that far, about an inch or so. And now I have a spotter. It's got a flashlight, and he's going to watch it as we bring it down. Stop. Good spotter. Looks like we can go just a hair. I am super strong, so there was a risk of going way past it. So now we're going to put that screw in first. And that'll secure this while I put the end cap on. It doesn't have to line up per se with the rest of it. It just has to line up with these holes right here. So now we're lined up here and here and ready for our rivets. Okay, so we're going to get our rivets in here. Oh, it hurts my shoulder. Oh, nice. core, this core has to line up inside there so you get to feel it kind of get into its home. Oh, that's a good feeling right there. Get in here and make sure they're all lined up. My screws looking pretty good. I'm gonna get all these started. And again, like the other one, I like to get these like kind of half or 3/4 of the way. Make sure you get them all started before you tighten any one of them down. Oh, still smells good every time I get close. Oh yeah. And you don't want to go crazy tight. Again, I'd rather have one of these fall out and have to replace it than have one so tight or thread locked in that I can't get it out. Okay, so this one's complete. No joke. This one took us 45 minutes to an hour, a long time. And I don't do them very often, but it took us a little while because we had to repack that rear section. If you stay on it and do it more often, you shouldn't have to do that. Now we're gonna do more of a basic silencer, like just something like this with no sparky, and we'll try to use some packing like most people would use. Because on this one, we're gonna pull the screws out and it's just gonna pull it apart. Look at that. This one's gonna be nice and easy, not too bad because the core is all clean like our other one. Now we gotta pull all this out. Oh, look at that. You can see somebody's tape from previous, and it's just totally soaked. This one, again, had to be just terrible how it was running. So I'm gonna just test fit this like this, and I think that's enough. I don't need any of this other packing, or I could do it vice versa. So I'm just gonna cut this and use it that way. I'm gonna go right on this side of that sew mark, that sew line, so that it stays together. Peel this back so this doesn't hold up our core from going in. Let's put a little more tape right here at the entrance. Okay, so I have an assistant prying the core inside. We'll show that. So he's lining it up, because if you try to hit it here without it lined up, you'll just jack up that end of that core right there. Without that assistant, I don't think I get this that good. So we're gonna do a standard power core type silencer, which is just an open silencer, similar to stock. So most silencers will have a few, 3 or 4 screws holding the core inside. You can make a little mark so you don't get confused as to which way it goes back together. Some bikes can be a little tricky that way, but this one's orientated in a way that you can't really put it together wrong. But some bikes, you're just gonna tap right here. And you don't wanna use a, steel-headed hammer. You wanna just like that. So good. Now this one has some extra wrapping in here stock. We're gonna twist this off. And this is where, this packing right here is still pretty good. This is where the problem is, that this one's coated and baked on to where it's getting kind of a straight shot. It can't dissipate. These little holes right here are what the vapors, the exhaust can, come through and get into this to help silence it or muffle it down, as they say. So at this point right here, we want to make sure that all these holes are open. In this case, it's pretty simple. They're all open, not a problem. Guys will burn it out with heat. You can put a torch to it and burn it out. This one's not too bad. It was just baked. You can feel how hard and crispy this initial layer was, and that's what was causing this thing to be a little bit more raspy than it should be. To the trash. So on this one, we're going to use this Bristol core insert just like that. Look how nice that goes on. It makes life really easy. Here we go. So now we're going to slide this on. Very simple, right? And it went in. You want to guide it in. This one went in really easy. I can tap it down just a little bit to line this up. These bolts right here, sometimes these bolts are 8s or 10s or Allens. Now on these, it's important to not tighten one down all the way. Just get them all started first. They can be a little tricky to make sure you're lined up. Some people will want to put a thread locker on here. I don't like to, just because I'd rather have one fall out than have one stuck so bad it's too hard to get it apart. Last step here is I like to put a little silicone around this edge right here that we had apart to help just keep water out of there when you're washing it, and you can come back and make it look a little prettier. And you could do the same thing on this lip right here, and you could use clear if you want to not be as ugly looking as what we have here. But for practicality, it doesn't really matter. Okay, that gives you a good idea of how involved it can be. That's a few different ways to do it. Hopefully that helps you out when you're repacking your two-stroke silencer. We're mainly FMF over here. Pretty much all FMF over here. So that'll help you out. Turbine core is going to be a lot trickier to do, but I will say if it's just a regular trail bike like this one, just normal riding on a big bike, you shouldn't have to remove this rear section most of the time. You're just going to repack this and you should be good to go. So that should help out there. Hopefully that helps you out. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.